Hello, this is the Cat's Library and I'll be your librarian today. In this week's video, I am returning to the series where I draw weather and turn them into people. Let us begin. In the last video, I said that I thought about making the storm character a pirate after I was done drawing her. I came into this design with the full intent of making Fog a lighthouse keeper, but apparently I didn't want to draw that, and this turned into an explorer/cartographer. It was mostly because I had trouble finding a pose communicating lighthouse keeper or sailor. I decided to give him perpetually fogged up goggles and a telescope because I was still trying to make the lighthouse keeper thing work. This character is the brother of Snow and Thunderstorm, otherwise known as Lumi and Ashni, from the last video, so that they represent the 3 stages of water as a whole. One of my friends from college suggested a different weather to be their sibling, but I figured that character would work better as Sunshine/Miles's brother. Since I had 3 girls and 1 boy in the last video, I flipped the ratio for this one. The colors for this drawing were pretty easy to figure out, since it basically was just shades of gray with 1 pop of teal highlight in the glass. The actually difficult part was the values of how dark or light everything should be, so that each section of the drawing was distinct from each other. I think that Doran here is my favorite drawing of the video, even though I couldn't really tell you why. So his story is probably that he was someone who went up to the big forests called the taiga in Alaska and Russia, where it's like the North Pole, and he's the one who helps the wildlife photographer people and the scientists navigate everything. So he has all of the wilderness skills and knows how to find the animals that they're looking for. And he lives in the small town with everyone else for most of the year unless he gets a job. Went back and forth on calling him Dorian or Doran, but I decided on Doran. So the weather that my friend suggested was acid rain. After some research, I found that this is sort of a vague concept. It's basically any weather with an acidic component, which is usually caused by pollution or an erupting volcano. I really wanted to use volcano imagery, and so that's why I made him Miles's brother. Now this is my least favorite drawing, despite the fact that I came up with the pose and to make him a rock star pretty quickly. One of the reasons is that he looked pretty flat, because I haven't figured out foreshortening yet. There are examples of my experimentation with this on the channel, but I should have pushed it further here. Other than that, and a few other critiques, this drawing looks like what it is trying to represent, and has the most dynamic color scheme. I wanted him to have black shoes like a mountainous rock that went up into an orangey yellow red color like lava, gray like smoke, and then maybe blue or something, but I decided to go with the green skin, red hair combination that Miles had so that they look related. I think that this character is a rock star. He just goes around and he tours and he plays shows and stuff, and he doesn't really live with everyone else in the small town. He might come back for like Thanksgiving or Christmas or anything. But mostly he has his own life apart from everyone else, and I think he and his brother clash a lot over their very, very different lifestyles. And I decided to call him Etna Rumble. Did you know that sandstorms are usually caused by thunderstorms? So this is Rainbow Girl's brother. Since all the characters have to fit into a modern small town aesthetic, he has to be in thin clothes that are full body covering, like they would be in a desert or during a real sandstorm, but also look modern at the same time. He has curly wavy hair and a scarf to match his mom. I wanted him to be sitting down, so now he's in a different pose than everyone else, which sort of works and provides variety in the lineup. In the last video, I couldn't quite figure out how to make Sally's eyes look right, but here I think I figured out how to make the expression happy and not scary. The trick seems to be giving the drawing pupils. For some reason, I wanted to experiment with the line thickness and make the outlines thicker than the inner ones. It was either that or I wasn't paying attention. I gave him a red and gold color palette to look like his dad and to be further distinctive. He strikes me as a quiet introvert who's a little bit of a weirdo type character. The background for him looks more like a Jackson Pollock painting than an actual representation of a sandstorm. Since I didn't want anyone to have normal names in this, I called this character Cargon. Did you know that tornadoes are also caused by thunderstorms? So this is the teen daughter in contrast to the 8-year-old from the last video and the 12-year-old from this one. I'm going to say that Tornado Girl is 16. Tornadoes have a unique funnel shape, which is triangular and circular at the same time, so everything is either a circle or a triangle on her design. The 2D nature of my art style in these two videos makes the proper cone shape difficult to pull off, but I did attempt it with her dress and hair, which also needed to be in a spiral pattern and spinning pose that I was less successful at pulling off. She has pointy teeth and a pointy ear, which combined with the color scheme make her look a little bit like a vampire. This wasn't intentional. The colors were a challenge to make distinct because they needed to be tornado-like without being either too gray like Dory and Fogman or too blue like Ashney Thunderstorm. I think I found a good compromise, but I'm not altogether sure. Her story is that she's sort of more of an edgy kid who wants to tell everyone else that she doesn't care about stuff, and she's just really good at dancing. She might be a little bit of the mean girl at her high school, but she really does have passion. She just pretends that she doesn't. She masks it. I think that she and her mom sort of don't really get each other a lot of the time. I think that maybe by the time that she's in her 20s, she and her mom will have everything figured out, but they're probably going through a rough patch during the teenage years, because they just have very conflicting personalities, but they're also very similar. I sort of thought that her handwriting would be a little bit avant-garde, and so everyone else, I tried to get their handwriting in when I wrote their name, and so I went a little weird with hers, and then I wrote it underneath in something that made sense.